Alright guys, first of all I just want to say thank you to, let's start with Adam that bought me 3 coffees, and he says, Happy New Year, your video tutorials and advice are excellent, Mike. They have helped me a lot during my muscle up journey. Yesterday during my muscle up pull-up workout I performed, and he write this amazing progress that he did. And he says, thank you for your help and video content. Keep up the fabulous work. The biggest thing that helped me were weighted pull-ups for strength, explosive high pull-ups for power, and focusing on pulling to armpits and biceps for technique. Not forgetting to mention lots of rest. Thanks again. Yeah, and thank you so much, Adam, for your 3 coffees. And what he said here about the biggest thing that helped him were weighted pull-ups for strength, and that's such a great advice. And that's usually also what I try to communicate in my videos. You have to do some kind of weighted pull-ups with your muscle up technique for building that explosive strength. So either what I'm doing these days, I'm just using the lat pull down machine with the muscle up technique and explosive reps, as heavy as I can for about 3 to 5 reps. And then he says explosive high pull-ups for power, and you can do explosive high pull-ups with bands, or you can do your half muscle up reps also with bands. Those are great exercises. And he says focusing on pulling to armpits and biceps. So basically I came up with this idea that when I'm doing my muscle ups, I'm pulling with my armpits. So I try to cover my armpits as fast as I can and then transfer into the dip. You can also try pulling with your biceps. This will give you a very good bar path. So a good bar path is when you're as close to the bar as possible, or like semi-close to the bar, because you don't want to be too close and you don't want to be too far away from the bar either. So somewhere in between. And using these tips like pulling with your armpits or pulling with your biceps will really help that. And thanks again, Adam, for your 3 coffees. And then I also want to thank Steve that bought me 1 coffee, and he said, I've started my muscle up journey with you, Mike, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I still have a long way to go, but your personalized feedback and advice have been amazing, and I'm confident that I'll make the necessary progress in order to ultimately perform my first unassisted muscle up. Thanks again. Yeah, so thank you so much, Steve, for this coffee and for joining my muscle up coaching. It's been amazing so far, and I also want to share some quick progress that Steve did in just 1 session. But before that, I just want to check if we have any questions. So as you all know, you can ask me any questions you have about your muscle up journey under the comments on each video. So Devin Calisthenics says, great advice, Mike, as always. Thank you so much, Devin. And he asks, are you still working on your front lever and weighted muscle ups? I'm not working on the front lever at the moment because I feel that I have to focus on each goal, because when I'm trying to have too many goals, let's say working on my weighted muscle ups and the front lever, I'm not making any real progress on any of them. For me, it works best just focusing on one skill at a time. So yes, I'm still working on my weighted muscle ups, but a couple of weeks ago I had the flu for a few weeks, and after that I'm building up my strength gradually again. So I'm doing lots of bodyweight muscle ups, but also a lot of muscle ups with the red band, because I also want to clean up my technique even more, and using bands for that is a really good idea. And also focusing more on my weighted pull-ups as well. Thank you so much for your question, Devin, and your support as always. And Christopher says, great video. Thanks, Christopher. And as I said, feel free to ask me any questions that you have. All right, so let's move on. So this is a coffee that you bought me yesterday. Thank you so much for that. I had this as my pre-workout. Let's move on to my recent client, Steve. So I just want to pause here for a moment. So his goal is to get his first bodyweight muscle up, and these are the first videos that he sent to me. So in this clip he's using the green and it looks like the orange band or something like that, so a combination of bands. and that looked like that. And after my first feedback, sending him some tips and things to improve in his technique, he went from the green and the orange band to using only the green band, looking like this. So I think his technique is amazing in these muscle ups. So what we're doing here, we're doing one muscle up, resetting, and then doing another one, because we're just working on our technique right now. And the second one looks flawless as well. Resetting, taking a few breaths, doing another one, really nice. And we are doing 5 of these for each set. Number 4, very explosive, very good technique, throwing his chest over the bar. And the last one, and he has a very good timing also on his muscle ups. So a small swing forward, pulling up and throwing the chest over the bar and pushing up. So this is just the first feedback I gave him, so his second muscle up session, which is amazing. I just got a new email from him, and I think he made even more progress, and I will show you that in my next video. And yeah, I just want to say congratulations, Steve, on your fast progress. And this smile says it all. Love that. And if all of you watching also want to learn the muscle up faster and feel that you're stuck in your muscle up progress, or just want to have some new energy in your muscle up, you can always contact me for muscle up coaching, and my email is in the description below. And just tell me a little bit about yourself, about your recent muscle up journey, where you are at, and let's take it from there. Looking forward to hearing from you. So the next thing I want to show you is this exercise. So I started to implement this in my current routine. So I'm just going to pause here for a moment. So at the moment I'm doing my muscle up training, my pull training, all my pull movements on Mondays. So I implemented this exercise on my push day on Wednesdays. As you can see in the video, I don't know exactly what this bar is called, but you attach it on both sides. So I'm using this exercise to practice the transition of the muscle up. So I'm starting here, like almost under the chin, and then I'm pushing down and throwing my chest over the bar, and controlling the negative as well. So I find that this exercise is a really good way to practice the transition part of the muscle up. And here I want to show you an example of a muscle up workout that you can tailor to your own strength level and use the bands to suit your strength. So here I'm starting with a warm-up with the purple band for 2 reps. And this is just to get the blood flowing, to get the explosiveness going, and also to drill the technique. So I'm doing 2 reps with the purple one here, and 2 reps more with the purple one. And the technique here is coming down, small swing forward, and pulling up when I'm parallel to the bar. You can see my elbows is facing forward, and here I'm pulling with my armpits. So the tension is on my armpits all the time, and I'm trying to close them as soon as possible, which gives me a good bar path. And then I'm throwing my chest over the bar. And here I'm also doing the half muscle up, not pushing up into the dip. Then I'm moving on to the black band. And you want the technique to be more or less the same using the different bands. Even when it gets a little bit heavier, you don't want to change your technique. And here I'm doing 1 rep with the red band, same thing here. Small swing forward, pulling up when I'm parallel to the bar, pulling with my armpits, throwing my chest over the bar. Alright, and I only did 1 rep with the red band, and then I move on to bodyweight muscle up, and I also want this to look exactly like the rest of the reps. So if you find that you need a lot of kicking and a lot of more assistance on your bodyweight muscle up, I would say you're not ready to do the bodyweight muscle up yet, because you want the reps to look more or less the same. So here's a small swing forward, pulling with my armpits, throwing my chest forward, and pushing up. So this was the first rep of the workout. The reps before that was only the warm-up. So I did 4 reps in total with the purple band, 2 reps with the black, then 1 with the red, and that was the warm-up. So this is the first rep of the workout. So 1 one bodyweight muscle up, and here I show you the gloves that I'm using. It's like cotton gloves from the local pharmacy. They're very thin so you don't lose the contact with the bar. So the rest between my bodyweight muscle up and these red band muscle ups is like 30 seconds or something. And here I will do 3 muscle ups with the red band, or 3 half muscle ups using the same technique. And that's it. And then I'm resting for 5 minutes and do the same thing again. So 1 bodyweight muscle up, and I rested for about 30 to 45 seconds, doing half muscle ups, and coming down from a muscle up from here to here. You want to control the descent as much as possible, so the reps look more or less the same each time, because if you're just dropping down and not controlling the descent, your muscle up can look very different from time to time, and that's not what we want. We want them to look more or less the same each rep. So controlling the descent, start to pull up like when I'm parallel to the bar, elbows facing forward, pulling with my armpits, throwing my chest over the bar. And then 2 more reps of this. 1 and oh no, that was it, 3 reps, sorry. And then after the muscle ups, I am moving on to weighted pull-ups. You can do weighted pull-ups with lat pull down machine, or just regular weighted pull-ups. So here I'm using a weight where 3 reps is very demanding, and as you can see, I'm using the same technique. So elbows facing forward, and I'm pulling with my armpits. And I will do this for 2 sets, so 3 reps for 2 sets. And I'm trying to progress this movement like every other week or something, increasing the weights. And I'm also pulling as explosively as I can. And it doesn't look like that because it's heavy for me, but you want to think about pulling as explosive as you can. So boom. And as I said, it doesn't look explosive, but I'm trying to be explosive. And that's the most important part of getting more explosive in your muscle ups as well. If you benefited from my tips, you can also buy me a coffee, or if you want to take it further, you can contact me for my online coaching. So thank you so much for today, and I hope to see you soon again.